Okay, morning. Last one for this morning. Yeah. So Ken, good morning, Ken, asks if Dr. Ben has time, a bit more on the aerosol debate would be great. But regardless, take care. Okay, and so then there's a link down there to a story, and we pulled up the story, and I had a look at it, and yeah. All right, I feel like this is um, we're looking at different sides of the same debate, and I think it's probably less controversial than the headline would make it seem. So the headline is that scientists are saying that the WHO ignores the risk that coronavirus floats in the air as an aerosol. Yeah, and I feel like I don't think anybody's ignoring that risk, but I think what they're saying is it looks like most the most likely method of transmission is these respiratory droplets. So paper masks, these little guys, would probably not be as effective at stopping aerosol from coming in or out. So first of all, what's an aerosol? This is just like virus floating in either the world's tiniest drop of water, like maybe, I don't know, sub nanometers. No, it got to be a couple nanometers. Yeah. Otherwise, it couldn't have a virus in there. Or else just virus floating around. And the virus itself is, let's see, something like about 80 nanometers in diameter. Yeah. And if you had the spikes on the outside, you get up to about 100. So there you go. Yeah. So I think what people are saying, this is just part of a continuum. So there are these respiratory droplets, and you got large respiratory droplets that have a lot of water, potentially a lot of virus. These things can hang in the air for a long period of time because there's a lot of droplet there that can evaporate, and the evaporation is what's going to help keep it up there in the air. And so then you've got smaller respiratory droplets that are going to have less virus each potentially, but could also be kept up in the air for many minutes by evaporating. And then down all the way at the extreme, you've got aerosol, which is just virus minus the droplet in the air. And presumably that virus would just be one virus, and they could blow around, float around on little air currents. Yeah, that is a possibility. I think the strongest evidence against that possibility is that if the virus was spread mostly that way, then masks would not be effective, and we've got several nice big studies that show that masks wearing is effective. And so the masks are probably, based on what we know, going to do best at filtering out those respiratory droplets, like the medium to large respiratory droplets. They're just going to physically catch them because they're too big. Whereas little stuff like an aerosol would presumably go right through just a regular surgical mask. Something like an N95 is actually going to be designed to filter those things out and make sure that they do not hang around. So that's the idea. I think aerosol is just really small respiratory droplet, at least the way I see it. And in science, as in life, kids, you can do anything if you try hard enough. And if you breathe in enough aerosolized coronavirus, I am almost certain that it would infect because the coronavirus would not care exactly how it came in. I think the other part of the logic here is that humans are not great aerosolizers. So if you've ever been around anybody who pops a pea, yeah, you know that what you can see coming out anyway is actual little droplets. We're not misters. We don't have a good mister attachment to the human body. Although it's possible that just breathing, out could generate something that's, if it's a fine enough respiratory droplet, then effectively it's going to be a mist. And so, yeah. So that's the logic anyway. Yeah. I don't know that the WHO is ignoring it, but I think they are focusing on the way that we can do the most good, which right now seems to be masks. I think there are probably, 500 different ways that you could spread the virus if you tried hard enough, and I do not think we should try hard enough. And I think it's about trying to find a way to basically allow people to do something, but to minimize at least the largest risk components. And so I think that happy medium is still at wearing a mask. I mean, it's not the same as a full on Category 4 spacesuit. Yeah. Or whatever, NASA spacesuit. Yeah. There's nothing else that's going to be 100% as effective as that. But the question is finding what's going to do the most good for the most people. And I think that's where the WHO guidance and the CDC guidance and most of science guidance is pointed to right now. So yeah, a lot of ways you could do something, but this seems like the way that it happens, at least for now. And as new information comes out, we'll have to look at that and assimilate it. And yeah, I'll try and bring you updates on that. So thanks very much for asking a good question. This is Ask Dr. Ben.